Hello and welcome to Pathway for Joy Counseling and Wellness. I am Carmen Andrea, certified grief counselor, inner healing certified, and certified life coach. You can learn more about me and how I can hold your hand as you navigate healing and life after loss via pathwayforjoy.com. So, if you're listening to this video, if it came across your feed and you've been feeling like something is wrong with you, like you should be further along by now, like you should be more healed, like you should be more motivated because we're in a new year, or like you should be more together, I want to gently interrupt that belief right now. I want to shake you up and interrupt all of those beliefs of where you should be, what you should have done, and all of that. And I want to let you know that you don't need to be fixed. You need to be held. And today I want to talk about what that really means, especially if you're grieving, emotionally exhausted, or tired trying to heal yourself through effort alone. So before we go any further, let's slow things down together. I want you to take a breath, unclench your jaws, maybe let your shoulders soften and relax a little bit, and exhale. Again, inhale, relax, exhale. And I want you to focus on being present in this moment and getting what it is that you need from what it is that I'm about to pour out and teach. You have nothing to solve. You have nothing to achieve. I just simply want you to focus on being present. So we live in a society where healing feels like a project, okay? There's always another mindset shift. There's always another strategy. There's always another program that's promising to get you back on track. And even in faith-based spaces, the message can quietly become or be perceived as you need to pray harder, you need to trust more, you need to move on faster. And that's simply not always the case. So when grief tends to linger or stay a little bit longer than you expected or than you thought it was supposed to stay, when emotions resurface and they don't just disappear or they don't just go away with time, and when you feel tired instead of transformed, it's easy to assume that something is wrong with you. But often what looks like being broken is actually your nervous system asking for safety and not solutions. And this goes back to what I said at the beginning. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be held. And when we plug into all these different frameworks, all these different trends, all these different things going around on social media that speak to healing, not true healing, but the social media type of healing where it's trendy and it's one size fits all, we can get caught up in a warped mindset of thinking that there's something wrong when you just simply have not created the personal space that you need to navigate your process. So let me offer a reframe that many women find relieving. When we talk about fixing versus being held, fixing says, what's the problem? How do we make this go away? What's the fastest way through this? And remember, we're not focusing on fixing. We're focusing on being held, holding. Holding says, you make sense. You don't have to rush. You don't have to carry this alone. Fixing focuses on outcomes, a desired outcome, an end date, a finish line, so to speak. Holding focuses on containment, embracing emotions, embracing feelings, embracing thoughts, embracing wherever it is that you're at on your personal healing journey, regardless of the date that you experience the loss or the life transition that you may have experienced. And grief, real grief, it doesn't respond well to pressure. I'm telling you that from personal lived experience and also from professional knowledge and education. Grief responds to being witnessed. Grief responds to being allowed. Some of you haven't even allowed yourself to grieve. Some of you haven't even given yourself permission to grieve. And I want to be the first one to say you have permission to grieve. I admonish you to grieve and to create space for your grief. So back to what I was saying, real grief responds to being witnessed. It responds to being allowed. and it responds to being met with compassion. Okay? There are a lot of spaces and a lot of communities and a lot of people who don't know what it feels like to be able to grieve and to be surrounded by people who offer compassion to them. People who say, I don't know exactly, that type of loss that you've been through, but I'm here. Even if I'm just here to hold your hand and not offer any unsolicited advice. This is why so many women feel worse after trying to push through their healing. Their hearts weren't ready to be improved. They were ready to be met. So if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, I'm tired of trying to fix myself, I'm tired of trying to figure this out, or feeling like there's an end date or a set goal for me to be healed and for me to act like everything is okay when I went through something devastating. You may have went through a life-altering transition or loss, okay? So you may be thinking you're tired of trying to fix yourself. You also may be thinking, I don't need another plan. I need somewhere safe that I can be held, that I can be comforted, that space can be created for me. So if that's you, if you're feeling that way, I want you to hear this. There is wisdom in your slowness, meaning there is wisdom in slowing down and paying attention and creating space for your emotions, how you're feeling, how you're thinking, what your body is telling you it needs, what your spirit is telling you it needs as it relates to your personal healing process. There is also intelligence in your emotions. A lot of people mask their emotions. They push past them. They don't create space for them. They don't sit down long enough to even feel their true emotions when they've experienced something devastating. And I just want you to know that there's intelligence in your emotions. You're not weak because you are crying, or because you feel sad, or because you're still thinking about something that happened to you years ago that you didn't fully process or allow healing for. And there's nothing weak about needing support. There's nothing weak about seeking out a grief counselor like myself. There's nothing weak about seeking out therapy. There's nothing weak about seeking out community with others who have experienced some of the same things that you have experienced, because healing doesn't just happen because you try harder. Healing does not happen by osmosis. Healing does not happen because time passes on. Time does not heal all wounds. That's a very popular saying that we probably heard from our parents and they passed down to us, but it's a lie. Healing does not, time does not heal all wounds. You must be intentional about feeling your emotions, about creating space for your grief, and about allowing yourself to go along your process organically and authentically. Healing happens because you're finally allowed to rest in the presence of someone who knows how to hold space without rushing you out of it. And that's where I come in, not just as a certified grief counselor, but as a woman who has lived experience walking through some of the deepest, darkest grief that you could ever imagine. So the work that I do is not about optimization or productivity, getting you to the highest level of performance. It's not about that at all. It's not about checking off marks on a box. None of that. It's not about getting back to who you were, because chances are, whatever you've experienced, you were changed the moment that it happened, okay? What it is about helping you to feel steady in who you are now, even while grief, faith, and life are still unfolding, even in the midst of everything else going on, okay? This kind of healing is quiet, it's relational, it's intentional, and it unfolds at a human pace. So if you're listening and you're feeling like you may need more support, I offer a short breakthrough call where we can gently discern next steps together. Now, this is not a counseling session. It's a calm, intentional 20-minute conversation to help you explore what kind of support, if any, would feel right for you in this season. You'll also find a link to join my email list in the video description if you'd like to receive weekly reflections just like this video that are slow, honest, and grounded, and that will help you along your pathway for joy. So just as a reminder, as I close out this video, I want to remind you that you don't need to be fixed. You don't need to perform your healing. You deserve to be held with care, with patience, and respect for your pace. So thank you so much for being here. If you're watching this video and if you made it to the end, I would love for you to let me know that you are watching this on the replay. And I also would love for you to tell me where you're tuning in from. And if you feel comfortable, you can tell me what type of loss or life transition you experience. So again, thank you so much for being here. Okay, remember, you don't need to be fixed. You need to be held, and you need space to be created for you and what it is that you've gone through and where it is that you desire to go on your healing journey. So thanks so much, and I will talk to you on the next video. Peace and blessings. Carmen Andrea, pathwayforjoy.com.